ECU Athletics and Playfly Sports present Inside Pirate Athletics. Inside Pirate Athletics is brought to you by Town Bank. Town Bank, serving others, enriching lives. Welcome to Inside Pirate Athletics. Brian Bailey with head coach Blake Harrell. On to Tulane. First, you had a bye week. What all did the Pirates do in that bye week?
You know, first of all, you focus a little bit inwards and focus on yourself. Obviously, it's always player development, getting some younger guys a few more reps and letting them go at it a little bit. But also, what have we done really well the first five football games, and what have we not done so well? And, picking out areas we can improve in and help us go win games later in the season and making sure we're staying sharp and sound on some things. So that was really our main focus is, look inward for the first couple of days. And then later in the week, we start turning our focus to Tulane.
And this time of year, you've got bumps, you've got bruises, and the time off heals everything.
It does, and you got to be very strategic about it because you don't want to get too far away from playing football. But especially if you have an older guy or two that needs a day off or a little bit lighter practice, then you can kind of helps you like the advantage of taking care of that young man. That will help you down the road.
Big matchup on Thursday. Tulane, one of the perennial powers in the American. Great opportunity for your ball club.
Yeah, I mean they've done a lot of games in the American the last several years and played for some championships within our conference, and one of the favorites to win our conference as well this year. And they're off to a 4-1 start, beating a good Duke football team, a Northwestern team. Went on the road to South Iowa, won a game, and then 1-0 in the conferences. They beat Tulsa 2 weeks, 11 days ago, wherever it was. And, certainly got our work cut out for us.
When you scout the Green Wave, what do you see there?
I see a solid football team. I see a team that is very consistent in what they do. Both sides of the football. Offensively, you're going to see some shifts, trades, and motions, a little bit like we saw at BYU. You see a very good quarterback in Jake Retzloff, who was at BYU.
Right.
And they're averaging over 200 yards on the ground. And then defensively, you'll see an Army-type style defense. I think this defensive coordinator comes from Nate Woody. Greg Gasparotto does a good job. D-line's probably their strength, and they're very solid defensively.
Tulane has done so well on the ground, and that starts with that quarterback because he'll pull it up and run at any time.
It does. I think he has 7 rushing touchdowns on the season. I think that's 7th in the nation. And whether he's dropped back to pass and just takes off and scramble, or it's quarterback design run game, he certainly has some wheels to hurt you.
We talked about this in the press conference that a lot of times, and you stress it all the time, it's Pirates, being about Pirate football and being about the Pirates. And you don't have to make the big play. You don't have to, win it yourself. Right. You just got to do 1/11.
Our theme or our word for the week is FIBU. Forget everybody but us, and that's forget everybody, all outside noise, anything you want to listen to there. Or, you want to respect your opponent. You want to know exactly what your opponent does, be prepared for them. But really the focus is inward and focus on what we do and doing our 1/11. We don't have to do any more or any less. Just do our job and be us.
And you also talked about this. You're 3-2, and you kind of look back and see what you had,
yep.
But you look ahead because that's where it's all at.
No doubt. And then you got a bunch of conference games coming up, 7 of them, and really you take one at a time. But you're thinking Tulane and Tulsa, in October. Then you get 16 more days off, and then those last 5. But the biggest one, the most important right now, is Tulane.
And when you guys go to Tulane, you're going to have a little road trip too, right? You're going to try to do something like that on all the road games.
Yeah, I just think that, there's football is huge, and our part of our bonding experience is some things we do outside of football. And anytime we go on a road trip, we're going to try to do a little something on the side. And at the beach, it was, hey, go walk on the beach, go walk on the pier. We go to New Orleans, go downtown, see the cathedral, maybe get a little beignet, I think. And,
yeah, I was going to say, what do you call those things
again? Yeah, and I think it's just a chance for us to kind of be loose, kind of, keep their minds off football for a little bit and stretch our legs out, those things, as well as experience the area.
And you kind of said it best, that a lot of these guys will never be back in New Orleans.
Well, that's how I see it. Like, the game of football allows us so many opportunities and so many experiences that we wouldn't get otherwise, and why not take a few moments to experience a region or a city that we're going to maybe for the first time and maybe for the only time in our lives, and these young men will always remember that.
All right, final thought now, what's it going to take to beat Tulane on Thursday?
Yeah, they're a good football team, and I think as we just talked about, it's really got to be about what we do, how we execute, how we keep the chains moving. 3rd and short, 4th and short, we got to keep those chains moving. We got to be better in the red zone too, put that ball in the box. I don't think 3 points is going to win the football game for us. I think we need to count them in multiples of 7. And defensively, we got to keep Jake under control back there. Don't give up the big play down the field, and control him with the run game and make them earn it. I think you see in the Duke game or the Northwestern game, they gave us some cheap wins early in the game, and then at the end of the day, we got to go finish. I think if you look at just how we score and how they score, we got to start fast and finish strong. And they're not doing a great job finishing strong, and we got to go finish strong and win that thing in the fourth quarter.
Big one coming up in the American. East Carolina and Tulane, 7:30 kickoff coming up on Thursday. We'll take a break. Back with more on Inside Pirate Athletics after this. Inside Pirate Athletics is brought to you by Town Bank. Town Bank, serving others, enriching lives.
One of the things we all really like as bankers here at Town Bank, whether it's your business or your family, when you need something, a decision needs to be made. We take care of it right here. We have the people, the knowledge, and the decision makers right here. Town was designed that way, focused on our members and enriching lives.
Inside Pirate Athletics is brought to you in part by Bojangles. It's bow time.
All right, Kenny, and I know he says, John, that he's built for this and he's ready, but I got to imagine there's some crazy butterflies going on, right?
Oh, absolutely.
3 strikeouts in the first inning for the kid. Other guys picking it up, too. 11 runs for the Jays and 11 Ks for Trey Savage.
When did you know today would be a special day?
I don't know. I mean, when I was out there, I could feel the energy of the crowd, and I just knew something was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be all that.
You said yesterday that you were built for this. Now, I know you pitched some big games at East Carolina, but nothing like on this stage. Why did you say that? Why did you feel that way?
I don't know. I pitched with my back against the wall with a division title on the line. I mean, I'm not built for this. We're built for this.
Former East Carolina Pirate Trey Savage absolutely putting on a show in the American League playoffs. Welcome back to Inside Pirate Athletics. Brian Bailey with head baseball coach Cliff Godwin. What did that mean to you to watch that performance on Sunday?
Well, I'm getting chill bumps as I've had a few times when people have asked me about it since last night. And it's legendary. I mean, of course, I thought Trey was built for that moment. He did not say it in an arrogant way. It's a very calming statement. But then he said after the game, I had to go out there and perform at a high level after I said that. But what he did yesterday is it's one of the coolest moments of having one of our former players to do that in that moment against the New York Yankees in front of however many thousands of people. It's one of the coolest things I've ever experienced.
I mean, you're watching the pregame show and they mentioned Cliff Godwin in the program at East Carolina. What a great recruiting tool.
Yeah, so Ken Rosenthal actually called me Saturday night after the Saturday night game, and Chad Tracy was staying with me, and I was just, cutting it up with Chad about, hey, do you know Ken? And he's a super awesome guy, but he just, asked me about Trey and why I thought he was built for this moment. And I said, well, the guy had a punctured lung, 10 to 14 days previous to the Chase Burns, Trey Savage start. And there's pressure at East Carolina when you're in the loser's bracket game. And I just told the Wall Street Journal in an interview that when Trey was walking out of the stadium after we lost to Evansville on Friday, his mom looked at him and said, hey, you got what you wanted, you versus Burns. And he said, I sure did. And it's the same kind of confidence level because he knows he puts in the work. It's not arrogance. It's just a very calming presence. And he also has a great faith in the big man up top, which is even more cool for me. And everybody that texted me about Trey Savage's performance last night, I said, he's a better human being because the way his parents have raised him than he is a pitcher. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, it really does. When you looked at what Trey Savage did at East Carolina and the type of pitcher he was, and you see him on a national stage like that, how much has he matured? How much has his pitches changed? That kind of thing.
Well, he had a bad freshman fall.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't throw a lot of strikes, and Coach Knight's working with him, tremendously hard just to try to get him in the zone better. And then even his first couple outings in the spring of his freshman year weren't good, and he just kept going. And he was on the 22 team as a freshman, and he was a guy that we could bring into a jam, and he'd get out of the jam. But if you ran him back out there to start an inning, you'd blow up on him. And then he develops a slider, goes out and pitches in the summer, and then in 23 he's a Friday night starter, but really doesn't have the split yet. Then he gets the split, and then in the spring of 24, man, it's like that dude is going to be a first rounder. And I've told people I didn't think he'd make it to 20, but I'm sure the Blue Jays are happy that he made it to 20.
I was going to say, now he certainly is the pride of Toronto, isn't he? Because the fans absolutely love him.
I mean, that standing O he got,
oh, yeah.
man, to get a curtain call you know, as a rookie and as a guy that is, I think that was his 4th big league start, and that kind of moment was unbelievable.
And it's very rare that you have 2 pitchers in the postseason. Gavin Williams just did a great job with Cleveland. He got the loss in his start, but he pitched very well, and it wasn't his fault that Cleveland lost that game.
Yeah, there's a guy named Scooble that's pretty good that he was facing.
He was good too.
He was really good, but we actually had practice that day, and we always have early work stuff going, so we had the game up on the video board, and I'm yelling at the video board because the umpire missed a couple pitches that Gavin threw for strikes, and Gavin was actually here on Saturday for our practice and just hanging out on the field, and he's living here in Greenville now, and those moments are they're really cool for me because the guys come back, man, they're around, they pour into our program, and that's why I got into coaching, and that's something I really appreciate. Burley lives here, just had a kid. Those things are really cool for me.
Yeah, 2 great Pirates in the playoffs, Trey Savage, Gavin Williams. I know it means the world, and that's just, you know, not the Pirate pride that you have as the coach, but also as a player, and you've seen that happen with, you know, Chad Tracy was a major leaguer and all the major leaguers, but it's got to mean a whole lot.
Well, we got 8 guys in the major leagues, East Carolina does, and I never coached Jeff Hoffman or Sean Armstrong, but, you know, got to see Jeff down in Tampa when Trey made his debut. Sean communicates with me and Jeff Palumbo a lot about recruiting stuff because he coaches kids when in his spare time, which is awesome. And then you've got our 6 guys, Zach Agnos, Connor Norby, Burley, Gavin, Trey, and Carson Wisenhunt. So I don't think, I don't know, I mean, Malcolm will have to fact check me, but I don't think East Carolina's ever had 8 guys in the big leagues at one time.
I don't think so either. That's head coach Cliff Godwin. Inside Pirate Athletics is brought to you in part by Pepsi, the official soft drink of Pirate Nation.
A big bow box says a lot about a person. Like they have a mighty hunger, a powerful thirst, and take tailgating very seriously. Game day and beyond, grab a football-ready Big Bow Box.
At ECU Health, everything we do is about you. It's about your health and the health of your family. It's about nationally recognized heart and vascular care, personalized cancer treatments, award-winning neurological care, and advanced orthopedic solutions. It's about healthcare, right here in Eastern North Carolina. This is ECU Health, and ECU Health will always be about you. Visit ecuhealth.org to learn how.
It's bow time. The Pork Chop Griller is back at Bojangles for a limited time. We know you missed it, because when you take a tender pork chop and sandwich it on a made-from-scratch biscuit, it's not a flavor you want to say goodbye to. It's bow time.
You've got to get the ball up quick.
Pirate basketball coach Mike Schwartz tipped off his 4th year recently with the official start of basketball practice at East Carolina. Schwartz looks to build on last year's success, where the Pirates completed their first winning season in over a decade. The Pirates also set a program record for conference wins in the American.
Great time. Excited to be here. It feels like it wasn't too long ago when October 15th was the first day that we were allowed to practice. But just been a good preseason so far. It was a very good summer and really loved this group of guys.
Coach Schwartz upgraded the non-conference schedule this season. East Carolina will play the likes of Michigan State and North Carolina.
It doesn't matter what our schedule is. It doesn't matter who we play. When we get into scrimmages here in a few weeks, we'll be scrimmaging. We want to be at our best, you know, as quick as possible. But we know it doesn't work like that. Like who we are today is going to be different than who we are in a few weeks and who we are in a month. Yeah, we know that the schedule is challenging. We wanted that, but bottom line is we approach it the same way. We got to just try and get better every day so we can be at our best as quick as possible.
The Pirates returned several key components this season. Jordan Riley led the American in steals per game while averaging 14.5 points per contest. Jay Shane Woodard was the only Pirate to record at least 30 steals and 30 blocks last year. Travion LeBeau started 26 of his 31 games a year ago. Add in several talented newcomers, and Coach Schwartz likes this team.
Yeah, you know, I think it goes back to the standards. I don't think we think of it as say we have everybody back, but we have a good group of guys back. And Jordan Riley, again, for the 3rd consecutive year, we have our leading scorer returning that had eligibility remaining. And I think that says something about our program, about this university, this coaching staff, just this team, what we're trying to build here, that whether it was R.J. Felton or Jordan Riley returning, that we have not lost our leading scorer for 3 consecutive years. So that being said, I think, again, it just goes back to standards, that returning group. And what I have learned now going into year 4 is this, that everything's not going to be right in August, September, October. This is a puzzle that we're putting together, and seeing the big picture, I think, is a big part of this.
East Carolina tips off the new basketball season, hosting Georgia Southern on November the 4th.
Wow, I mean, 62 school record yesterday from Lisa, and then 65 today from Nicole was just fantastic. And just to watch those two play, and the future's bright, right? Lisa's a sophomore and Nicole's a junior, and so to watch them step up like they did was really big for us.
If you have an appetite for saving money, get the new Rofo Rewards app from Royal Farms. Use the Rofo Rewards app to make purchases or place mobile orders for pickup or delivery, and earn royalty points redeemable for free stuff. Download the new Rofo app at the Apple App Store or Google Play. And right now, new Rofo Rewards members will get a free any-size coffee for signing up. Get the new Rofo Rewards app today. It's a very appealing app to have. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
All right, right now let's take a look at what's coming up this week in Pirate Athletics. On Thursday, East Carolina Soccer plays host to Temple in a 7 o'clock start at Johnson Stadium. Pirates then play at UAB on Sunday this week. In football, East Carolina and Tulane, a 7:30 kickoff from New Orleans. The Pirates lead the all-time series with a green wave 12-8. On Friday, Pirate Volleyball pays a visit to Temple. And then on Sunday, the Pirates host Florida Atlantic. That's volleyball coming up this week. This Week in Pirate Athletics is brought to you by Carolina Windows and Doors. And we'll see you next week right here on Inside Pirate Athletics. Inside Pirate Athletics has been brought to you by Town Bank. Local bankers committed to your success. Inside Pirate Athletics is an exclusive presentation of ECU Athletics and Playfly Sports.